Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Day with Down to Earth Astronomy. It is Monday, and that of course means it's time to have a look at what's been going on in Elite in the past week. First of all, Frontier released a patch last Tuesday to fix some various bugs and issues with fleet carriers. Amongst the changes are a fix to the problem there's been with paint jobs on fleet carriers. In case you're not aware, there's been a bug where paint jobs would outright not show on fleet carriers even though they were enabled in the livery settings. That has now been fixed, so you can now once again look at all the glorious colors that you've put on your fleet carrier. Of course, there was also the speculative fix to the bug with the ship-launched fighter used to reset subsurface deposits. While this has been partially fixed, it's not fully fixed yet. It did say in the patch note that it would be fully fixed, at least that's how I read it, but it seems that is not the case. It seems the trick with jumping to a fighter and back into to the ship will still reset the asteroid. As far as I know, without having tested this myself, what has been changed is once you then leave the ring to go and sell or store your materials, once you come back, then the rock will be depleted. Again, I haven't tested the last part there myself. That's just what I've seen from other people's reports. But at least it seems like the whole fighter resetting is not yet fully fixed. So that's probably something I will expect that we're going to see an additional patch dealing with in the not too distant future. Unless it turns out it's more difficult for Frontier to fix it, then it might take a while. But another change they did, which was a very, very welcome change, was the changes on the galactic average prices for some materials, including low temperature diamonds. Before, the galactic average for low temperature diamonds was around 57,000. And because fleet carriers can only offer up to 10 times the galactic average as a maximum buy or sell price on the carriers, that meant they were limited to about 500,000 as a maximum price. This was, of course, not able to compete with the prices you would see in the bubble, but with the changes to the galactic averages mean that you can now push prices up to, I think it's around 2.5-ish million, at least way above what we are seeing as even the highest prices that low temperature diamonds are being bought for in the bubble. And this means that the market for low temperature diamonds are now a lot more dynamic and is a lot, more usable also for people not using fleet carriers. And not only is this a great change for people with fleet carriers, it's also a huge help for people who do not have a fleet carrier. Because fleet carriers can now offer much higher prices, and it's not uncommon to see people offer 1.4, 1.5 out close to the mining spots. That means the travel time for any player has basically just been reduced to almost nothing when they have to go and sell the materials, if they can find a fleet carrier that is actually buying the materials. That is a bit of a problem, and the problem is it's not easy to find, and you're forced to go out and use third-party tools. Some people will put it in the name of the fleet carrier, but it's often very unreliable because somebody may put in the name of the fleet carrier saying, yes, we're buying low temperature diamonds for 1.4, 1.6 or whatever. And then, I don't know, go to bed, go to work, and then while they're at work, the order is being filled. So then when somebody goes and docks the fleet carrier, it's not buying it anymore because, the order has been filled. And that can lead to a pretty bad experience for the players trying to sell the materials, having to go and jump between carrier until they find one that's actually buying the materials they want to sell. Of course, what people could then do is use third-party tools like Inara, EDD, those kind of things, where the prices are tracked whenever people are docking, so you can get a more up-to-date view on what the prices are at the different fleet carriers. However, even that, because people tend to flock towards the fleet carriers with the highest price, does mean that it can also be a little unreliable since the market changed very rapidly. Last weekend, we also had this year's Lavecon. This is normally a physical convention where people meet up in the UK, and Frontier has been a huge sponsor of the events for, the longest time now, and it hasn't been uncommon for Frontier to also show up and do a panel at the event themselves. First of all, the event, of course, like anything else, was affected by the coronavirus, meaning that they were forced to do this as a virtual convention where people would sign into, I think they use Zoom meetings and Discord. and there were live streamed events and those kind of things. While it was not, while of course not ideal compared to having an actual physical event, under the circumstances, it is of course the best you can do. During the weekend, there were plenty of events with Elite Dangerous roleplay. There were some panels, some talks. However, Frontier did not have a panel this year. They have traditionally used this panel to give a small teaser into some of the things that are coming to Elite, but I guess this year that they didn't have much they could tease at this point. I mean, we just had the big fleet carrier update, and they just had the teaser trailer for Odyssey come out. So I guess they're not ready to go and tease us even more stuff at this point, and I guess that's why they didn't have a panel this year. Now, Elite is a game that has always had a ton of third-party tools developed by the community, and the number of tools has just grown by one. Many of you will of course be aware of the EDD Discovery tool, which is a wonderful tool for Elite. In case you're not aware of it, I'll put a link for it in the description. You can go and check it out. But it's actually difficult to explain what it does. It does a lot of different things. It interfaces with Inaura, EDDB, it uploads your information, it updates market data, it does a lot. I highly recommend you go and check it out if you're not familiar with the tool. However, it just got a smaller brother called EDD Lite or EDD Discovery Lite, which is a lighter weight version of it that doesn't require that many system resources, but also is less feature rich than the full-blown tool. As I said, it is really a all-round tool that does a lot of different things that you install locally. Of course, to take full advantage of it, you have to be playing on PC. It doesn't support console, and it's not because the developers don't want to support console, but there's just doesn't exist an API. Frontier hasn't exposed any API that developers can use to interface and pull data from the game on console, so it's just not possible with the tools set available to us. So, but anyway, the lightweight version has been published. I believe it still looks at your travel logs, your combats, your trading, ranks, all that kind of stuff is being updated. You can push that off to Inaura or whatever other Elite Dangerous site you prefer. And it's just a lighter version of the main one, but also, again, less feature-rich. If you want to, I'll also be sure to post a link for the light version of EDD Discovery in the description, so you can go and check that out as well. And that just leads me on to the live stream tomorrow, which is back on its usual slot at Tuesday at 7 o'clock in-game time. The last 2 weeks I've been streaming Wednesdays because of some private stuff that got in the way, but I'm back to the usual spot on Tuesday. Now, I have two plans for what I could do during the live stream. One of them, I'm not going to spoil right now. I'm going to keep that as a little surprise, little teaser, but it may or may not have something to do with a very certain faction that has received a lot of attention lately in the game. And it may also have something to do with a very, very, very rare commodity that is very difficult to get your hands on in Elite, that I was considering going out and doing a little bit of hunting for. But if that happens, you will see what it is tomorrow if you tune into the live stream at 7 o'clock in-game time. Live stream here on YouTube and on Twitch. The backup plan is to go and continue to work on the Murder Hornet build. This is the long-range sniper PvE build, and this is the third major iteration on it that we have done, where we're fine-tuning it, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. I'm at a state now where I'm running out of materials, so I need to go and pick up more. So I was considering doing a live stream where we go out and we do some material collection, preferably doing it in a non-traditional way. Instead of just the usual, okay, you need data, go to Jameson's, you need manufactured, you go high grade, so you go Daft's Hope, and you need raws, you go to the Crystal Shards. I mean, everybody knows that. It's pretty common and it's pretty straightforward. And I wanted to go back and actually have a look at some of the older methods that has kind of been abandoned, but that I really enjoyed in the past, just to see if they're still feasible. But that's my plan B, that I might do that, and then the other thing might come at another point. But anyway, the live stream is going to be here on YouTube and over on Twitch tomorrow at 7 o'clock in-game time. I hope I will see you there. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give a like, subscribe, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.